Have you ever felt like you're completely drowning in information, but somehow you're not getting anywhere? Well, today, we're going to get into that exact feeling. We're going to break down this weird paradox of why learning more can sometimes be the very thing that keeps you from actually doing more.
So let's just jump right in with this line from the creator Dan Koe, because it really gets to the heart of the whole thing. The idea here is that the problem isn't your to-do list. It's not some productivity hack you're missing. Nope. The real work is about changing your identity, from someone who just consumes information to someone who actually creates.
And I mean, this is the big question, right? You're doing everything you're supposed to do. You're soaking up all this expert advice, you're feeling motivated, you're learning new stuff every day, but then nothing. It feels like you're just spinning your wheels in the mud. So what is going on?
To really get it, we've got to diagnose the problem first. Let's call it the productivity trap. You know that feeling of being super busy but not actually making any real progress? Yeah, that's it. It's all motion, no forward movement.
And listen, if you feel this way, you are absolutely not alone. This is a huge collective struggle. You just have to take a quick scroll through a community like Reddit's r/getdisciplined, and you'll see post after post from people who feel exactly the same. They feel like they're just watching their own lives from the sidelines, armed with all this knowledge but totally paralyzed.
This is what we can call the consumer mindset. See, we consume self-help books and business advice like the act of learning is the end goal. And yeah, it feels good. You get a little dopamine hit, it feels like you're making progress. But it's kind of an illusion, a cozy substitute for the messy, scary, real work of actually doing the thing.
So, how does this happen? Why do our brains get so comfortable in this loop of just learning and never doing? Well, it turns out there's a really powerful psychological reason we get stuck in the world of theory.
In psychology, there's this term called intellectualizing. It's basically a defense mechanism. Our brain uses all this logic and analysis and reasoning as a shield to protect us from feeling uncomfortable emotions. Things like the fear of failure or the anxiety of trying something new.
I love this quote from Dr. Joseph Burgo because it puts it so perfectly. He calls it a retreat into the emotion-free zone of the intellect. Thinking becomes our safe space. It's like we build this giant fortress out of plans and theories to avoid ever having to step onto the actual battlefield of real-world action.
And this isn't just something we do personally. You see this pattern everywhere. Just look at this chart. There is a massive gap between systems thinking and systemic action. Mapping out a system isn't the same as actually changing it. And we get stuck on that left side, in the world of talk and theory, fooling ourselves into believing that just because we understand a problem, we've somehow solved it.
But here's the thing, hiding out in that emotion-free zone has some serious long-term costs. Research shows it can lead to becoming detached from your own feelings, it can strain your relationships, and ultimately it just stops you from really truly living a full life.
Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem. Thinking is the trap. So what's the escape route? Let's check out one popular blueprint that is all about action. This is the motto from Dan Koe, the guy we started with. His whole philosophy is basically a full-on assault on passively consuming content. It's not about learning one more thing, it's about building a life that revolves around actively creating something.
And he lays out two really simple paths to do it. You've got the skill path, learn something, teach it to others, and then sell that skill. Then there's the development path. You go after your own goals, solve your own problems, and then you document that journey and turn it into a system to help other people. The key for both, they are built on doing something first.
And this quote, this one really nails this whole message. It's about giving up on the idea that someone's just going to hand you a plan or a paycheck. It's about becoming self-reliant, taking responsibility, and learning how to create value for yourself. It's a shift from waiting to be fed to learning how to hunt.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Just when we think we've found the answer in this philosophy of just do it, we stumble right into a paradox that's sitting right at the heart of the entire self-help industry.
So check this out. This is a real review of Dan Koe's own book, The Art of Focus. The guy who's all about taking action gets criticized because his own book feels unfocused. The irony is just, wow.
And this review really drives the point home. The core message of doing gets lost, and for some people it just turns into more noise, more abstract theory to consume. It just goes to show you how powerful and sneaky this thinking trap really is. Even when we're talking about taking action, we can end up right back where we started.
So what does that tell us? It suggests that the real answer probably isn't going to come from another guru or another big fancy system. I mean, if even the experts get caught in the trap, maybe the solution is something way simpler and way more personal.
The real shift, then, isn't about finding a new philosophy. It's about a very simple change in your behavior. It's about building the small, consistent habit of going from being a consumer to being a producer. And here are some actual practical steps from people who've made this shift. First, block out time to create and treat it like it's your job. It's non-negotiable. Second, you have to accept that your first try is going to be imperfect. That's not just okay, it's a necessary part of learning. Third, start ridiculously small. Just make one thing. And finally, value the experience itself, because the knowledge you get from doing is something you will never, ever find in a book.
So if we bring it all together, the escape hatch from the thinking trap isn't more thinking. It's not one more book, one more course, one more video. The real power to change your life is and always has been in the simple, sometimes scary, but always rewarding act of actually making something.
And at the end of the day, it really just comes down to this choice. Thinking feels safe. It feels productive. Action feels risky and uncertain. But only one of them actually creates change. So the real question is, which one are you going to choose to do today?